Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela, I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and welcome back to this week's Whips, Bits and Chat. It's 163 and I'm finally back from Australia. Yay! Now this is take 2 of this video because I thought I'd compressed it before I deleted everything. I'd like to say that it's because I've still got a foggy brain from the flight, but we all know my brain's always foggy. So first up today is of course our video roundup. Now I may have confused some of you when I went away by popping up my I'll see you later video, but I did still have content coming out this last 20 days for you guys to watch. The only video you didn't get was one Whips, Bits and Chat, but other than that I thought I did pretty well. So what I'll do now is re-go over all of the videos that I put up over the last 20 days, and some of the links will be up there, but the majority of them will be down in the description, because of course I've got other bits and pieces to talk to you about and show you today that may end up in the I button. So the very first video that went out, it'll be up in the I button there, is the Daisy Cup Coaster / applique, or however it's said and spelt. There's 2 different versions on that video, one in the description and one on the main page for applique. We all know Poppy can't spell. So here we go. This is what the sunflower looks like when it's laid out ready to go, and it works really beautifully of course with the lavender and of course the rosy posy. See, we're getting a bit of a collection going. So much so, I've even got another pattern that I've still got to make the video for that I did over in Australia, and I'm not telling you any more than that. So you'll have to keep an eye out in the next couple of weeks for that tutorial as well. Now the next, I'm dropping stuff. The next video that went out was what crochet items to pack for a flight. It was a bit of a messy background video, but everything that was in the bag I showed you. Everything went through customs both ways and during my stopovers I should say. So I had absolutely no issue taking my dodgy old 4mm hook and a 2.5 and the yarn and the little tie cutter thingy that I have. So I will pop that link up there, or it will be in the description box and down below, so you can have a nose at that video, see what I packed, so that you know what you can get away with if you're traveling to Australia from the UK. And also you'll probably be able to use the same items if you're traveling elsewhere, but please remember, always check your flight provider first to make sure that the stuff is okay. Don't just go on what I've said as 100% gospel. The next video up was a tried and tested number 4, and I believe that one is shawls. I can't remember, I'd have to go back and watch it myself. Then we had a little short, and that was food from the stadium. It's FIFA World Cup. I'm really lucky, and my brother-in-law actually is doing the food for the women's FIFA World Cup. It's being hosted over in Australia at the moment, so I've got a sneaky peek at some donuts. And that's what that short was. Then I came out with the book review, which was 100 snowflakes to crochet, where in there I showed you a couple that I'd already made from the book. I was planning to do all 100 but got bored. So I stopped and gave the book back to the library. But before I sent it back, I also did the Method PVA glue hardening for crochet decorations. So that one is up as well. If you've ever been interested in, I don't know, making decorations and stuff a little bit stiffer, that's a good one to look at. There are other techniques out there, and I'm hoping some of you will fire me the ideas over so I can do another compilation with different techniques in, because I've got at least another 20 snowflakes to harden that I can use each of those different techniques on. I'm just going to need your help. And then we had another book review, which was Amigurumi Treasures. That's #1 in the set. Now, absolutely love that book and made an item from it, which I believe I've already shown you guys. I don't have it to hand. It's in a box or waiting to go to my brother. Yeah, I didn't post it before I went to Australia. Oh well, it's my brother. He knows to wait. The next video up was Tried and Tested 5, and Tried and Tested #5. Now that was based on Amigurumi, and that was the Amigurumi Treasures book 1 and 2, where I show you the different patterns that I have made from those books, and shown that not only you don't have to use the yarn that they say in there, you can use others, and I've actually used 3 different types of yarn to make 3 different creatures from there. So go and have a nose, that's up there. And the last video up in this collection is I shopped at Spotlight. Now this was all recorded over in Australia, but this dopey girl, I forgot what her passwords were to get onto YouTube Studio to be able to actually upload it, and I'd also forgotten to take my opening titles with me on that little mini computer. So I put it all together when I arrived home on Thursday and stuck it up for you on Saturday. So have fun looking at that one if you have missed it. And that is it for all of the videos. Crikey, more than normal. Well, sort of. So apart from helping my mother and father-in-law out this last 20 days, what have I got up to? Well, as the shopping video showed, I did pop to Spotlight, but there is no extra video there showing what they had on their shelves or anything, because it was just running in and grabbing what I could. Don't panic, in say 6 months or so there will be a possible another video coming from Spotlight. We'll just have to wait and see. So whilst I was over there, most of my time was spent helping them both out, which was brilliant, and they're doing a lot better now, which is brilliant. I did get some crocheting done. I actually got set to task by my mother-in-law to make her a new blanket, and so the first yarn that I picked out from Spotlight I used to make this blanket, and I was doing ever so well. What I'd done was used my, baby blanket, a basic pattern, but changed it up a little bit. So instead of having blocks of kisses throughout, anybody who's done that video, done that pattern, and will know what I mean by the little blocks of kisses, and hopefully you'll be able to see what I mean in the photographs that I'll show you in a few minutes. But instead of doing the blocks of kisses throughout the entire blanket, I decided to just run them as a border going up and around. So that's what I did for the blanket. It took me a good couple of days to do, and I got 2 rows before finishing and ran out of yarn, so I had to go back and grab another ball. I've got a little bit left, well, quite a bit left over, so I'm going to do a yarn review on the yarn that was used, and that will be coming up this week, I think, or maybe next. No, this week. I had to remember what order I've done them in, because I've already made that video. That was done this morning. Yeah, so I made the blanket, and it is a very busy yarn. I was hoping it would colour pull, because it's a technique I really want to try, but I haven't got around to doing. So I started tried using different stitches that I've seen other people use for colour pooling. Nothing worked, so that's why I ended up going to the Biddy Baby blanket. So here are the pictures of that blanket that's been finished and been left in Australia. Mother-in-law loves it. It fits on her legs just right, thankfully, because there was a threat of adding an extra border to it in another obnoxious colour, but she decided no, she'd stick with what she was given. Good thinking, girl, good thinking. I was also working on a cotton based top using the white and hand dyed yarn. I got quite far in it, working it on the plain and working for the first couple of days on that project. It's worked from the bottom up, and I've got to where there would be the divide for the armholes and of course the top section. I wanted to change the stitch up. I wanted to change it so it was more solid at the top here. So of course I had 3 or 4 different ideas in mind, and then I had 3 or 4 different top designs, whether it was just going to be a basic V or a round or a cross or a this or a that. Yeah, so I've written them all down, but I couldn't go firm on any of them, so it didn't get finished. It got put back into the bottom of the bag for later. So as a punishment for not finishing that, my mother-in-law saw the red yarn and went, oh, I need you to make me 10 poppies. So she set me to task on the 10 poppies, and I did all those, but the problem was I didn't have any brooch backs and I didn't have any green, and that is why I ended up having to go to Spotlight in the first place, was to get the green and to get the poppy, the brooch backs for the poppies. So once I'd done that and I'd got those, I put those all together. So there is now 10 poppies sitting over in Australia in a little box on the side that she's going to be handing out closer to November. And she's also put a donation, or will be putting a donation, I should say, into the Poppy Appeal over here in the UK, because she'll just send me the money over and I'll stick it in. So I did those, but I carried on going. Okay, so it was definite punishment. I've got my projects in the wrong order. But yeah, so once I'd finished the blanket, I carried on going with the poppies. Sorry, they're a little bit of a mess. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so these are not being counted into the poppy count for this year. These will be going into the box under the table for next year, because I've actually managed to finish this year's challenge off and make the 400 that were needed to bring the count up to 3,000. So next year I'm gonna go back crazy with them, and fingers crossed I can get a decent amount out. I'm not putting a number on it though. You hear me? No number. So as I said, 10 have been left over in Australia. They are completed, done and dusted, and then I've got another string of 10 there, so that makes it 20. I got carried away. 30. I was still carried away. 40. Whoop. And then I completed, before I left, 50. Okay, but I've got a couple more that I did on the plane, which is a 2.5. So that is in total 52.5 out of that 100-gram ball that I took with me. So a bonus, that they are done, and I will sort them out later. And the last project I did, I was attempting to do colour pooling with this yarn here. It is called Acro 8-ply classic acrylic yarn. There is 270 meters per 100-gram ball, and it's a DK weight, which is a what's it, a DK 3-weight 8-ply. Got it. There will be a yarn review coming out on this one too. Now, as I said, I was attempting to colour pool. I'd tried doing the moss stitch, I think it is. I'll put the right name on here in a second. I was planning to do that stitch because I've seen it pull up lovely with other yarns. So I had a go. It didn't work. Okay, so I thought, right, I'm going to try it corner to corner. I've never done it corner to corner before. And oh my gosh, it was very confusing until I got to probably about the fifth or sixth row, and then it clicked. So I just kept working, and then when it came to decreasing my square, because that's what I've done, it got very confusing again until I got 5 or 6 rows in. It's just the way it goes with me at the moment. Now I have closed off the work, but I could probably unpick my knot to collapse this down if I decided to do so, because it didn't colour pull. It didn't colour pull. There is a crazy pattern in there if you can find it, but here it is. So, oh, it's quite hard for you guys to see the pattern on screen, but here we go. And let's fold it over, and then I will bring it up closer to the camera, so hopefully I can point it out to you. Right, so as I was working it up, I've got these blocks of colour, and then I've got some, oh, wrong way, some stripes go, oh, that way. No, still can't do it. But as you can see, it's going on the diagonal. There's blocks of colour and stripe, blocks of colour and stripe. But then as it got more to the middle, those stripes and colours broke away a little bit. But they came back again nearly at the end. So it nearly matches. So I'm thinking I could probably keep this as is and turn it into a lovey or something along that lines, because it's quite a nice size huggable thing. Or I could also add to it with a border and then add more squares. Just make some really random blanket up for you. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with it yet. But as I said, there is the possibility that that is going to get ripped back, but it was just something to keep my hands busy, because it was Baltic over there. The nighttime temperature was hitting -1. I'm not used to that. I've been over in the winter before, but it has not been that cold while I was over there. And only, I think our top temperature one day we got to 14 degrees. I put washing out. My mother-in-law was like, that's gonna freeze out there, and I'm like, it will be fine. But yeah, other than that, that was the hottest day we had. The rest of the time the temperature was between 8 and 10 degrees. I'd taken woolies, and I even stole my ones back that Junie had nicked off me a last visit. She was like, go on, you can nick them back, but I want them. And I also took over my Not Again granny shawl in the green, the shorter versioned one. Purposely I filled up my luggage with that so that I knew I would have room for some yarn to bring home with me. So that's also been left in Australia, and it fits on her lovely in her wheelchair. So that's another thing she's nabbed off me, but I don't mind, because that was a planned stealing. I planned for her to steal that if it fitted nice. Now it's time for the best bit of the video. It's your photos. Now this has been the bit that's been keeping me going all the way along that the trip, was basically opening my emails and having a blast of daisies. Didn't quite work like that though. I've only received one set of photographs from our gorgeous crafty Moo Sarah, so I'll be popping those up in a few moments. Now I do know of at least one other creator that has made them and shown them on her channel, but where's my photo, woman? How can I show off your work if you don't send me the photo? Because I tell you what, screenshotting someone else's video, one, is a nightmare, and two, it makes the image not so clear. So please make sure you send those over, and hopefully I'll get to show it next week if you send them. And to anybody else that has made the daisy pattern or any of the other tutorials on the channel, please remember to email me over a copy of your photos, or of course you can add them to the Facebook group. That's where Sarah put them on, so at least I could find them. Right, come on, let's have a look at her daisy. I know it's cute. Okay, so that's it for me for today. I've got nothing else to show or share. It's been a really bad crochet fortnight. Well, 20 days. Right, I'm going to head off now. I will see you all really soon. So please remember to stay chilled, stay happy, and keep crafting. Goodbye, everybody.